going to teach you how to milk a goat. When I first started Milky, chill a second. When I first started milking the goats, I was really excited, nervous. I didn't really know what to do. I figured out my little system now, and I'm going to show you how to milk a goat. It's not that complicated. Don't overthink it. With my man paws, my man mitts here, it makes it a little more difficult because they have tiny tits. So squeezing them can be a little complicated, but once you get like the rhythm and the system, I'll show you. First things first, we let Milky in. Come on, Milky. Not you, Alice. Milky always comes first. If we don't, they have a system, and if we don't abide by the system, basically they get mad. So if I don't let Milky go first, she's going to bleat and bleat and bleat and be very annoying. So she always goes first. One scoop of feed into the stand. Here. Oftentimes I don't even need to like latch her in because she knows how to do this. She's an old pro. Milky is probably my best milker. I get anywhere between 500 and 800 mils from her every single day. So pretty good. Glass mason jar is what we use to put the milk in. Of course, we date it on the top afterwards, but we'll get there. Another glass mason jar of soapy water. Make sure we keep everything sanitary and clean. So we're gonna wipe off her tits. And we're just gonna give a quick squeeze. Just to clear that duct, make sure if there's any crap or gunk in there that we won't get that into our milk bin. And then I thought that I would need like a fancy bucket. I'd need a fancy container. This is just a stainless steel pot. As long as it's clean, my canning funnel and a filter to be able to catch any of the hairs and stuff, because I mean they're going to shed, but it is very, very straightforward. So, there we go. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah. So, you can probably see, and you can move if you need to get a better idea. You can see that her udder is quite engorged here, so that's full of milk, more or less. And then her teats here are going to be what you squeeze. I thought that everything I had seen about milking anything was the like pulling motion, and that's not what you want to do, because if you pull it, you're going to hurt them. So basically, you just want to grip it. I like to grip it up here and kind of have a rhythm of squeezing top to bottom. So grab up top and then squeeze. Basically, you'll feel the teat get engorged with milk. So squeeze, pinch it off, and then pinch all the milk out. Once it's done, it'll trickle off. You'll feel it go limp. Let go, it'll fill back up. And then, because Milky is my best milker, I just go to town on her. Now, what you may see is dual streams on my right-hand side here. See? What is a common genetic deformity in goats is you'll see that they have multiple nipples on one teat. So you can see she's got two nipples that both squirt out, if I squeeze it right. Very common, so I've heard, and generally you don't want to breed them if they've got that deformity, but I mean, I haven't bred her, but and then you just squeeze. Like once you get, it's getting that rhythm down. I'll show you on the other two how it's a little different. You'll learn the goats. They all have a different personality and different wants and different needs, and they're weirdos, goats are. But you just go to town. You can do alternating. Sometimes I do alternating if I'm in the mood. Sometimes you can do both at the same time. But basically you just go until that udder is a little more limp, that it's hard to get everything out. You won't like empty them completely. There's always going to be some milk in there, but depending on how much you milk them or how often you milk them. Some people milk them twice a day. I milk them once a day just because twice a day doesn't really work for our schedule. But every morning I'm out here Squeezing the teats, right, Milky? Milky's the easiest of the three. I'll show you in a minute, but if you've ever seen a kid on a mother goat, you'll see that in order to get milk, what they do is they headbutt. We've got a little guy, and I'll show you once we're done with everybody. We separate him so that he doesn't drink all my milk. But what they'll do is they'll headbutt the udder to get the milk down, basically make the milk drop, and then you can get a little bit more. Generally, it's hard to tell from the video. I'm not pinching, I'm not squeezing, it's just getting a good grip there. And that one, that side is just about out. This side still has a bit more in it. But usually, you'll be able to tell if you're hurting them because they will wince, they will stomp, they won't be happy about it. So just keep an eye on it and try to be as, I mean, you want to be kind to them, right? Right, Milky? There, and see that I'm not really getting anything. I could coax some more out, like the udder's still got some stuff in there, so I could really try to work that udder and get all that milk out. It's not worth it. It'd take too much time. So I take it, and we filter it. There's a few hairs in there that she just dropped off her belly. And there we go, 400 mil. And now, we take her out. She's not going to be happy. Again, they've all kind of got their own rhythm, the own whatever, the way that we do this. Right, Milky? Come on, Gertie. Come on. Come on. So, Alice or Nova will be the second one. Alice scares her, so she doesn't like to get off the stand. We'll see who comes second. Normally Nova, and Nova gets mad if we don't put her on second, so we'll see. Gonna stay there. Who's coming? Is Alice? This is Alice. And then you gotta watch sure they don't knock over your milk. Everybody's out. It's chaos. Okay, Nova, back inside. Milky, come on. Down. Good girl. This is the little buck's mama. So he gets very angry while she's in here with me, which is fine, but he just gets kind of annoying. You'll hear him bleating in the background. But what I'll probably do is basically to shut him up. I'll go give him a cup of feed, so we won't have to worry about that. Hi guys. Hello. You're okay, Buckster. Come on. There's gonna be a dog cage there that we put him in, and they broke their hay trough last night. They jumped on it. There you go, buddy. That'll shut him up for a bit. We can milk his mama. For Alice, she's a little more timid. I've got this board that we put here, keep her on one side. It doesn't hurt her or anything, it just keeps her from moving one side to the other. Hey girlie, you get your feed. Oh. She's coming around, she's been doing a lot. She's been doing a lot better lately. At first she was very timid, tried to lay down on the stand. We'll see how she does today. But with the buck on her, so again, wipe the tits, wipe the teats, squeeze the first little bit of milk out. You can see her udder is very engorged. There. What some people will have to do for their goats is tie the feet back, because they'll stomp, they'll try to kick you, they'll try to move. If you get a good relationship with them, it shouldn't be a big deal. But like that, yeah, or try to lay down like that. And you basically don't want them to out-grump you. But this is the same thing. She doesn't have a genetic deformity on her teats. I like milking Alice here the best. She is a Nigerian dwarf and 1/8 Alpine. And she produces decent milk once she's got the baby off her, but her teats are just the easiest for me to grab with my paws here, so it's a little easier. Same thing, just squeeze them. The hardest part about this when they fight you is they'll try to stomp, and I don't want them stepping in my milk bucket. So, see, that's the most common things that they'll try to do is they'll try to lay down on you. What I'll probably have to show you here is you can take a little bucket, put it under their chest so they can't lay down. Doesn't hurt them. The intent is not to hurt them. It is just to tell them, like, hey, it's milk. See? The intent is just to tell them, hey, it's milking time. We're milking. We're going to do this. Because goats are pretty stubborn. Goats will try to get out of places. Goats will be a pain in the butt sometimes. Right, Alice? So we'll grab her bucket. I'll be right back. Basically, the intent with the bucket and the stick is to just tell her, hey, it's milking time. Oh, see, that's her problem. That I wasn't thinking of. She's run out of food. If they run out of food in their dish while they're on the stand, all three of them will do that. They'll get grumpy, they'll stop eating, and if they stop eating, they won't let you milk. So we'll see if she needs her bucket. Probably not, now that she's got feed. She'll be content. Are you gonna be content for me, darling? You're okay. You're okay. See, a lot more timid now that she's eating. You're okay. Yeah. I've noticed on her, because she's got the little guy, the little buck, sometimes she'll have sores on her nipples where he's mad because there's no milk coming out, so he'll take a nip. And usually I just give that one a rest. I've got some cream. Okay. I've got some cream for her that I'll put on occasion. But come on, Alice, we're not done. We go until completion. You know this every day. You're just nervous because there's guests. And that's okay. You're allowed to be nervous. But the more I milk her, I've noticed that she produces quite a bit, like she does really well. But if I can get it out of her, because she's so stubborn. Plus she's got the baby, so I think once the baby's completely weaned off of her, he was born 3-4 months ago, if that. So he's still quite young, but just a comfort thing to still be on the tip, right? Same with humans. Chill. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. See, she hears everybody else, especially the little guy, and she gets nervous. No, come on, Alice. And it's really important to train them. Don't let them train you. So you want to go until completion. She's almost done here. I can feel it in her udder. She's not spraying as much milk when I squeeze it. But you want to have them trained because, like I said, they are stubborn. And they'll want to get away from you. She's getting rowdy next door, and she's like, what am I missing out on? You're okay. You're okay. Did you eat all that again? No, you still got feed. You're okay. We're gonna wait. You're gonna be stubborn. I'm gonna wait. Really. I can wait for you, man. Oh, we're waiting on you, darling. Like I said, she's almost done. Come on. Up, up, up. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. We're almost there. We are almost there, Alice. Eat your breakfast. It just takes some coaxing sometimes. right udder, or the udder in my right hand. I think it'd be left for you. Starting to dry up. That's Nova. Nova's mad that we didn't take her first. That's Bucky. You start to recognize their calls and what they all sound like. Almost done, darling. Almost. Mosquitoes. Lose my hat. We're almost done. We'll just not show the mosquito that just happened. Okay, you're done. You're done. And that's why we filter, because sometimes there's mosquitoes. Bucky. It gets rowdy. We got our first liter of milk down. See, Alice is mad. Or Nova's mad. We got our first liter of milk in here, ready for our second one. So I'll get you to see, as soon as I put her in, Bucky's gonna jump on her to try to milk. So just go over the top right here and watch, because as soon as she's in there, he's gonna rush her. Alice. So watch what he does. There's my... They're quite aggressive with it. Say, gimme. And then there's Nova. Grab my hat back. Alice took my hat. Nova is... Alice is the most stubborn. Milky's my best milker, clearly in the name. And Nova is my most timid. Generally with goats you can grab them, but that doesn't hurt them, moving them, anything. What's interesting about Nova is that she's only got one half of her udder full. You'll see that this side isn't very full. Again, she's got the same genetic deformity as Milky had, 2 teats on that one, not on this side. So what I believe, I'm not certain of this, but what I believe was when she had a baby, when she had a baby, that baby couldn't get milk over that side, because it's harder to milk that side anyway. So I think the baby tended to suckle on this side, which is fine, but that way we only get the milk from the one udder. And this one, for some reason, it is her teat that gives me the most trouble with hand cramps. I don't know if her nipple or teat is smaller or what, but I have to keep switching back and forth between right and left because her, for some reason, gives me a hand cramp while I'm milking. But it's that same rhythm of pinch off the top, squeeze out the bottom, pinch off the top, squeeze out the bottom. The nipple goes hard, full of milk, and then you just pinch. It's just a rolling motion that I've figured out. It's weird to get used to, but just release, pinch, release, pinch. Yeah, get wherever you need to be. She'll take a minute to milk anyway. You'll notice it got quieter now that Alice is back in there. She's the dominant one. What I like to do is I'll hold the udder back to give me a better grip and then pinch it out. So you can still get some milk out of that teat. It's just a little harder because of the two nipples. It just developed poorly, I believe. But we're just about done. I just get what I can out of that because it does still have milk in there, and I don't want her to develop mastitis or anything or any type of infection. So we keep it flowing. Don't want her to have a clogged milk duct because that's painful. Just get a little bit, a few mil out of it, and then into my jar. There, we got our first jar and our second jar. So about 1.25 liters, which is pretty good. One thing you'll notice, and one thing that I had to ask a friend about, is they have a 28-day heat cycle, which means they'll go into menstruation, basically, like females, humans do, every 28 days, and you will see a drastic drop in milk production, which isn't a big deal, but it is something to be wary of. I thought they were sick. I thought I wasn't feeding them right, because it was right around the 1 month mark that I had them. I was nervous of the transition, and finally, they started producing more milk, but it was figuring out, oh, hey, they have this cycle. Their hormones are a little bit wonky for a couple days of the month, so help her out. You still milk them. You don't stop milking them, but something to be mindful of so it doesn't freak you out. And now everybody's mad because I need to feed them breakfast. And we got some. These are what I brought earlier. Got some kitchen scraps, some zucchini, some corn. They're gonna love that. All right, now. Let's go, guys. I have a couple of different dishes for them because they'll fight. Hey, chill. They'll fight over it, so kitchen scraps. Chill. Kitchen scraps. There you go. Lovely. Pour some of this on top for you. Look, it's a mixed meal. Delicious. That-ish is how you milk a goat. Oh, you locked us in.